Yeah, I think you should be, your status should be the host, unless you can, then only you can have the option to go live.
Yes. It's starting now. Thank you.
Hi everyone, good evening. So this is Lloyd speaking. Let me see if everything is going well and fine. Okay, right, seems that it is. All right, so from last week, I've actually still just gonna go through the format of the show again. I'll be talking about reversals. Again, not every week we'll have a reversal setup since I'm actually looking at the weekly reversals. And then I'll be sharing the indicator of the week, which is indicator of the week. Yeah, something which I play around with a lot. Yeah, so every week I'll be trying to be sharing something different. So let's go through what I've shared last week about the. Let me see, where's my tab? Okay, here it is. So last week I've actually shared with you all 6 pairs to look out for reversals, and I'll just be going through them. And I think it must be a lucky week for me. Yeah, lucky week to start the show with, because in fact all 6 pairs did reversed itself, which is fantastic. So the first one which I shared, and I did mention that of these 6, there are 2 pairs which I'll be really looking intently at. Will be Aussie CAD and USD SGD dollar Sing. Yeah, so let's have a look at how they are faring. So Aussie CAD, it did in fact reversed. Yeah. So any of you who have traded, you should have easily gotten 2:1 or more. In fact, now for this week, I'm still looking forward to trade Aussie CAD. And in fact, at the moment of what I'm presenting now, price has indeed given me a setup. Let me get rid of this. Yeah. So it will be this test bar, this rejection bar, whereby I'll be placing an pending order for the rest of the week and see how that turns out. Yeah. So if you forgot how I decided to jump to my reversals, look, this is no major secret. I'm looking for just an RSI oversold or overbought, and then the entire candle on the weekly chart will actually form my range. So I'm looking for either a within the RSI oversold or overbought. I'm just looking for a double top, double bottom, if that's possible. Otherwise, I will trade the midline of the candle. I'll be trading the midline break and retest, and then finally, if it actually breaks the entire candle range, then I'll be trading the break and retest of the candle range. So this is what I've gotten. So you can see that price broke, retest, very nice. This is a rejection bar. So this will in fact be my entry candle. We'll see how that turns out to next week. Now the next one which I spotted, which was Aussie dollar, you can see that on the weekly chart, again price RSI give an indication. So that effectively forms the entire range. And then on the daily chart, at the midline, you can see that price broke very nicely. So this will have be the entry. And then against at the bottom, which is the low of the weekly bar, price broke. Yeah. So I'm just waiting for this week. If price will come back for a retest, then I'll be keen to actually jump in. So euro dollar, pretty much same story. Weekly chart, RSI, and then on the daily chart, you can see that price broke the midline, waiting for a retest, and then I'll be happily going in. Now I have to say that my actual trading time frame is actually the 4-hour. So I do have all 6 trades going on at the moment. So I'm looking to scale in. So I'm quite excited. Now for trend traders, I understand primarily most of you are trend traders. You might not have traded the reversal itself, which is okay. Personally, I feel that for trend traders, you all should know reversals. Why? Not exactly to trade reversals, but to anticipate reversals. The importance of it is that if a reversal does really happen, does really play out, then you'll be in a very, very good position to trade the first retracement. And the first retracement is always the most profitable setup for a trend trader. Next, Pound Aussie. Again, pretty similar, oversold on a weekly chart. And this is what we have gotten. That's a wrong adjustment. The daily chart, very nice break. Now, what I'm waiting for this week for how Aussie, in fact, is for price to actually break and retest. And you can see that even on the previous price action, this is a very, very important level. Yeah, so long as I have a break and retest, I'll be very, very keen to go for a long position. That's a scale in for me. Last two, dollar Swiss. Oh my God, that's a bit messy. Oversold, that will form the range. And you can see what happened last week. Midline break. Yeah. So in fact, price is actually too far gone this week for dollar Swiss already. I don't think you actually retest the weekly chart range. Yeah. So 0.92 forms my horizontal level, and that will be my level to scale in if there's a reversal price action that happens. And the last on my chart will be USD SGD, and price is exactly at the position whereby I would wish to see a reversal price action. Don't think it happen tomorrow. Hopefully by Wednesday or Thursday there will be a rejection bar that happens around here. Then I can look for scale ins. Yep. So that's what I have for scaling in for reversal this week. Yeah. In fact, when I scroll the chart for this week, I don't have any viable reversals that I can trade. Yeah. So last week was really a bingo week for me. Reversals are actually quite rare. I would think that it's actually rarer than a trend itself. Yeah. So the primary reason why I look for reversals is because I am a trend trader. But if I can spot a reversal, and jumping the reversal is the first step, trading the first retracement is the second step, that will really form the basis of my entire trading profile. Right, so for this week, the indicator that I'm going to share with you, to me, is really interesting. Again, I have to mention that the indicator is not designed by me, it's not done by me. It's searching for indicators in the World Wide Web. Google has actually been what I call it, a hobby for me. Yeah. So sometimes I find really interesting indicators, and I will just wish to share with people. So again, this is not mine. The link to download the indicator will be posted on both the YouTube and the Facebook page. So if you are interested in the indicator, you can download it from the link. It will direct you to the website directly. So without further ado, let me go to the web page. No, sorry. Let me go to my MT4. All right. So the indicator that I'm sharing this week is actually known as the average channel candles. Yeah. So most of the candles which I shared, most of the indicators which I shared, it will be valid for current MT4 builds. Yeah. So one issue with people trading with custom indicators, all this what I'm sharing are known as custom indicators. They are not found on your MT4 platform. Is that for custom indicators, you have a nasty habit of the indicators being out of date, because every time the developers of MT4 decide to update MT4 itself, there's a chance that the indicator might not work. So there's danger of it. But then we don't really have that regular MT4 updates. Yeah. So let's have a look at the inner workings of the indicator. So this indicator is nothing really fanciful, right? So you've got your time frame to use. Usually I'll set it to current. Now, some indicators are known as multi-time frame indicators. That means you can display the indicators according to the other time frame. Usually the one time frame higher or two time frame higher. Yeah. So, but by default, I'll leave it as current. Average period that it measures. I'm just going to use H4 as a example today. So I'm going to change it to 30. Now, the reason why I decided to use 30 as the average period, one day we got 6 H4 candles, and in 1 week I will have 30 H4 candles. Yeah, so that's the primary reason why I use 30 instead of the recommended settings of 34. Average method, you all can choose any of it. I'll just leave it as default for smoother. Now, if you like to all of the other functions, I think you can. It's pretty self-explanatory. You can explore if you want to. Now, for most of the custom indicators which I like, I would prefer for them to have price alert functions. Yeah, alerts on current bar, pop-up message. Now, alerts on current bar, what it means that if you are on the H4 time frame, and there's the reversal candle that appears, it will pop up 5 minutes beforehand. Usually that's what it means. But according to how the indicators is being customized, it might be 10 minutes earlier or whatsoever. Yeah. But usually it should be 5 minutes or even 1 minute earlier before candle closed. Yeah. So alerts are really important to me because I don't really stare at my screen. So if there's a valid setup, I will want the alert to pop up, to be sent to my phone. Yeah, that's the gist of it. Right, so without further ado, average channel candles and the link should be up at least towards the end of the show, or by now, I'm not too sure, but it will be up definitely. So this is how it looks like on the screen. And in fact, it is very, very close to, if you plot I'm using the 30 period, so if you plot, let me see, moving average, no, not this, sorry. Yeah, let's go for 30. You see that it resembles really close to the EMA. Yeah, just that the calculation might be slightly different. That's why you see it does not adhere directly to the EMA itself, but essentially the main calculation is via the EMA itself. All right, so let me see if I have any questions. All right, so I don't have any question. That's good. All right, so now with this indicator, I mean, at first glance, you can actually look to trade these indicators on its own, but I would really suggest you to pair it with another filter. Yeah, so you can actually, as it is, this indicator is really one of the main way of calculation is by the EMA itself. So I don't suggest using EMA as a filter, but for now, I'll be using the pivots itself. Let me see over here. All right, so from the audience, can any of you just throw me any pair that you want to look at instead of me choosing it? Any pairs for your preference? Right. So I'll just go with what I've chosen until I know what they are giving me. So I'll just use the main ones, one of the major $0. I'll scroll back a bit. Okay, so I'll just explain the indicators itself. Now, there will be 5 colors that you see on the screen, which is light green, darker green, gray itself, I'll just consider gray, light gray and dark gray as one color, and then bright red and crimson red. Yeah. So, and then you have the bands itself. So now you have always heard the phrase that the trend is a friend. Yeah. So for the indicators itself, the average channel candle, you can see that it has a built-in filter of a trend. Yeah. So green is to buy, red is to sell. No issue. The light green candle are candles that have stronger momentums, and the darker green candles are candles that have weaker momentum. Yeah. So trade with strong momentum, trade with trend. Now we got these first two issues settled. And then you have the gray color candles. That is candles that has very little momentum. So don't trade those candles. And then you have the bright reds and the crimson reds. So the bright red candles are candles that have stronger selling momentum. The crimson reds, no, this is not crimson, sorry. The maroon, yeah, that means the darker reds, darker shades are candles that have lesser selling momentum. So all in all, trade trend, that means trade the colors of the bands. Trade those candles that have stronger momentum. Now, I'm not talking about price action, I'm just purely talking about colors. On top of that, we got the pivot as an additional filter. Okay, so pivot steps up, we are looking for long. Pivot steps down, we are looking for short. So this is Euro USD right at the start of the year. I just run through a few setups to let you know how it can be done. So let's trade from January onwards. Pivot steps up, we are looking for long. That means we are looking for green candles. But the channel indicates that it is selling. So there's nothing really for us to do this week for Euro dollar. Pivot steps down, we are still looking for short. In fact, this will be a setup. See, bright red. And then the channel at 10 was actually red, it wasn't green. All right, but shortly after it changed to green. So we have entered and got stopped out immediately. Not a great start. And then finally, you've got this candle. You can see that consolidation touches the pivot. Channel is red, and then you have a strong selling candle. And then you have gotten pretty good profits. Let's just go for slight measurements. at least a 3R trade, I would say. Yeah. So I wouldn't, at this stage, I wouldn't want to say recommend you any kind of stop loss or management methods, because all I'm doing is just letting you know what kind of indicators there's out there might be interesting. It's up to you to combine with your current trading system. Yeah. But let's say for every trades I go for, it's a 2R trade. This would be a definite winner. And then you can see that the next week, following week, pivot steps down. Unfortunately, we didn't get any setup. Yeah. One thing I might have missed is that the setups that I'm looking for is for price to go into the gray color candle. There is no momentum, and then go for a strong momentum candle. Yeah, primarily that's the setup that I'm looking for. There are times whereby you can actually go for this kind of setup, whereby it's with trend from a weak momentum changes to a strong momentum. Yeah, you can go for this setup. There's nothing wrong with it, but just that personally, I would prefer for this kind. Yeah, so you can easily actually differentiate into this. Will be a better setup, you go for 1%. Weaker setup, you can go for 0.5%. It's all boils down to personal choice. So over here, we don't get any setup yet. Forget it. Pivot steps up. We are looking for long candle. Again, no setup at the moment. Over here, pivot steps down. Channel is straight. We are going for sell, a short setup. So again, depending on what kind of risk profile you prefer to take. Over here, you can see that weaker momentum, stronger momentum, weaker momentum, stronger momentum. You can get into any of those candles, depending on where your stop loss is. You might or might not be profitable. Yeah. Personally, for me, I prefer a deeper retracement. Yeah, at least into pivots. That's primarily what I'm looking for. Or otherwise, I'm looking for price to go into some sort of consolidations and then a strong sell or strong buy before I jump in. So this does not suit my trading profile. Pivot steps down. Again, you can get multiple trading opportunities depending on how you want to do the setup. For me, there's nothing. And then you can see pivot finally steps up. Now, this is something that I may consider. You can see that price goes into weak momentum, like darker green, touches the channel, and then it shoots into a strong buy signal. Yeah, so this is something that I may be considered on my side. Do you want to take up such trade? So that's entirely your choice. Again, nothing over here. This is what exactly I would love to see. Pivot steps down. Little momentum, strong sellers. I would jump into this. Again, that's my recommendation. Yeah. Any indicators which I share, please back test. Okay. They are not magical. You've got to back test and see if you suit your trading profile. Nothing over here for me. Consolidation at that point I'll be happy to see, but then it does not give me any buying signal, so I'm going to skip it out. Steps down, looking for short. Nothing over here. Again, steps down, I'm looking for short. Now, this does not constitute a signal for me. Why? Because the channel is still green. So I can't really do anything. So I'm just going to wait it out. Steps up, really nothing for me. Steps down, nothing for me. Step up, nothing for me. Steps down, I don't have anything viable. Very tough week, I guess. Now, actually, this will be interesting. I will actually get stop loss. You can see that price goes up, and then it gives me a low momentum candle. There's only one thing that's keeping me out of this trade. Now, if you still have not gotten it, it's because the channel is still green. That is not good. So even though subsequently there's a red seller candle, it doesn't really fit my trading profile. That's the way I envision it. All right, so that's just a brief look of how this indicator can be used. Yeah. Again, can it be used on its own? I would say yes, because it's still a trend trading indicator on its own. Yeah, it's one of those whereby I would say is an all-in-one. But I will still ultimately recommend to pair it with another filter. All right, let me see the questions. All right, Jess, got dollar cat. Okay, so let's have a look at dollar cat. That's the kind of alerts that I would love to have. Okay, cat. Okay, let's start from May, shall we? I'll use back my pivots, or probably I'll use another one. Let's not use the pivots. I'll use super trends. Yeah. So you can see from my screen, I'm just mixing it up, guys. Because I'm not teaching you an indicator. I'm just recommending you something. I'm not teaching you a strategy. I'm just recommending something that you can probably use in your own trading profile. All right. So starting from here, you can see downtrend. Very nice setup. Channel is red. Super trend is red. And then you can see that this will be a no momentum going into a. Let me blow it up. Red, bright red candle setup, and this will give you a really good profit depending on where you decide to take all profits. And then this will be a bit tricky. This is still a setup. Super trend is still red. No momentum. Strong sell. Yeah. So if you have TP1s at 1:1, you are safe. If you have not, then this will be a stop loss trade. So you can see subsequently price goes in consolidation. Channel is green. Really, we are not looking at anything at the moment. Channel is finally change into red, but we didn't get a setup. I'm still looking for a low momentum and a strong seller. I'm not getting it. Same thing, I'm not getting it. Not getting it. Over here. Okay. Low momentum candle, strong seller, but the channel is green. Really not interested. Over here. Super trend is red. You can see the channel is only one of it, is actually only red. Okay. But we still get our setup, low momentum into a strong seller. So this is the kind of setup whereby I would say not all conditions are there, but only one, I would say half of the condition does not match. Then let's go for 0.5% setup. You still go for healthy profits. Again, this is something that will be hard to digest. Green channel, so let's keep this out altogether. Super trend is still red, by the way. This is exactly the 1% trade whereby I'm looking out for. Super trend is red, low momentum candle, followed by a strong seller. Kind of cool, right? This will be a setup, low momentum, strong seller. And then over here, it gets a bit fuzzy. So if you jump into this, you won't get triggered on the next candle. But I'll still take it as a stop loss because 2 candles later, you will get triggered and hit your stop loss immediately. That's not a good thing. And then finally, let me blow it up. This is a bit special case. You can see for this candle, super trend is red, the channel is green, and then it changes to red already for the top line. The bottom line has still yet to change to red. So it is a scenario just now that we have encountered. Low momentum, strong seller bar, yeah, but only one line changes to red. All the others still fits. So we'll go for 0.5% setup. I think this will still be a 2:1. If I'm not wrong. Sorry, my stop loss put it wrong. Yep. Yeah, barely 2:1. Yeah, might or might not be a winning trade for some of you. Again, depending on whether you have TP1s and where you put your ultimate TP off. That's dollar cats. And then we got nothing here all the way. So that's dollar cat for you. I guess just now, Parish, Euro Pound. All right, so let's have a look at Euro Pound. Let's change the time frame, shall we? Let's look at daily charts. Okay, Euro Pound, we have the daily chart. What kind of other trend filters should I use this time around? So I've used the pivot, I've used the super trend. Okay, let's go for another fan favorite. We will have moving average, 200 moving average. So anything that's above 200 EMA, we're going to buy. Anything that's below 200 EMA, we're going for sell. Simple. This is still a fan favorite. All right, let's scroll back a bit. Start from here, shall we? So straight off the bat, we have this setup. Very nice. We have easily got 2:1, and then consolidation candle, buyers straight away go into selling. So this will be a setup which immediately you will get trigger in, and then you'll get stop out eventually. Not a very good thing. Then we don't have anything here anymore. You can see that even though this is a seller candle, but our channel is green. So let's forget about it. And then price goes up all the way. Consolidation, and then seller candle. Buyer candle, which is this. Again, depending on whether you have TP1, if you have, then this will still be a small winner trade. Otherwise, it will be a loser. All right, entirely depending on your management. So this will be an entry. You can see that channel down below 200 EMA, low momentum into seller momentum. Yeah. So this is actually a rather small candle. Let me see if we can blow it up. So if you did enter, things should be easily 3:1, or in fact 4:1, a 4R trade. Nice. And then we have nothing over here, green channel, so forget it. So this will be a entry candle. Luckily for us, we didn't get trigger in. Okay, so if we put a pending order, immediately price went up a bit. Yeah, so we didn't get triggered. Although if you let your orders remain, you'll still get some profits. But usually my order expired after 1 or 2 candles. So for me, this is a no trade. And then over here, nothing much for us. We're still looking for buyers. A long candle finally disappeared. There you can go. Didn't really get really good profit out of this. In fact, looking at the turnout, you might get stop out before it hit 1:1. Yeah, so this is actually a loser. So this is another trade setup. Might definitely turn out to be a loser. No, actually I'm wrong. Yeah, so this one we didn't get triggered in at all. Yeah, because after 2 candles, my trade would have expired. Got nothing here. And up to now. So I think across what I've shared personally from my own observation is that be it whether using a 200 EMA as a trend filter, pivots or super trend as a trend filter, it does look tradable to me for the daily H4. I've also seen it on the H1 myself. It does work. Yeah, it's just that for you guys as a trader, trade management wise, this is something that you have to come up with. Yeah, because everybody's trade management is different. Some are aggressive, some are rather conservative. All right, so this is what I have shared this week. Again, the indicator is actually average channel candles, 2.09. Yeah. So the link to download it, it should be up now, or later I'll post it in the YouTube and Facebook comments page. You can get it from there. Okay. I hope this is useful to you all. Helen, can I post the pair I'm talking of for this week reversal? No, this week there is no reversal trick. But I'm looking to scale in for pound Aussie. That's all. Yeah. Because reversal on weekly is quite rare. It just so happened that last week at the start of the show, there's 6 reversals going on. All 6 have been playing out nicely. So this week, pound Aussie, I'm looking to scale in. Okay. Any questions, guys, before I actually end the session? All right. I hope this is useful to you all, and you'll find in your own, you can actually implement in your own trading. And I'll be sharing more of this kind in the shows ahead. So goodbye and have a good day ahead. Rest well.